All right, we back with another episode. This is episode 13 of R&R Podcast, where the X's and O's meet real world experiences. I'm your co-host, Richard Daniels.
I'm the host, Rodney White. Today we have a special guest, special coach, legendary coach. First of all, Coach Gould, what we do at the beginning of all our podcasts is we like to give everybody their flowers, especially coaches. We know we don't do a good job of that. We know we don't reach out to coaches a lot and give everybody flowers when they should. So this is the opportunity we want to give you your flowers for what you have done for so many young men in Winston-Salem, probably kids outside of Winston-Salem. But you won the legendary coach in North Carolina. We talking about 6 state championships at Winston Prep, 3 state championships at Reynolds as assistant coach, another state championship at QEA. This is a legendary coach that everybody knows around this area. It's an honor, it's a blessing to have you on our pods. What you got, Rich?
Obviously, like this is special for me because Coach Gould has kind of been one of those coaches that has always reached out to me, even as a player. When we was at rival schools, and those battles were heated, and even as a coach, man, me and Rod always talk about not having a lot of friends in this game, or people you can actually trust in this game. Like Gould is somebody that always has reached out and gave me some insight, or making our state championship run. He was one of the ones that called me and kept me humble. Like, hey, the job ain't finished. Or he's telling me, man, it ain't no pressure. Keep doing what you're doing. And so I appreciate that a whole lot. Coach Gould, man, thank you for being on the podcast.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. And before you get started, man, I just want to let you know, man, your grind just reminds me so much of my grind when I was young and trying to get to where you get to. Instead of saying to you, I know, again, a lot of people don't know. I know you through your father.
Yeah.
And, which is a special man to me. But just watching you grow up, knocking on a lot of doors, a lot of people tried to shut them. But, Walker Town gave you an opportunity to watch you build your program, pretty much. And what I say from the ground up to get what you want and to get where you got to, and then, as much as I wanted you to win that state championship, and it killed me. Well, Lord knows it killed me.
Yeah.
But I know you got something coming for sure.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it the right way.
Yeah. No, I definitely appreciate that. So we're gonna get right into it. Obviously, you've been coaching 25 plus years. The start of your career, we didn't really talk about it, but I read up on it. You started off as a girls coach. And I saw that you also started off coaching 9th grade boys before you got that opportunity, to be assistant coach with Coach Howard West over at RJ Reynolds.
Yeah.
How did you get started with the coaching at Reynolds? How did you get introduced to, coaching girls and going forward?
Well, I mean, when I first tried to get into coaching, I knocked on a lot of doors. I wanted to try to do, I knocked on an oversight door and told me I'd volunteer.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get in. I was coaching YBA and the Y leagues and all that, but I just wanted to elevate myself. And I started coaching some AAU here and there, but I had a lot of doors shut on me. And then, my old football coach, which was Jim Spivey, saw me at McDonald's on Martin Luther King Drive. And he, at the time, I didn't know he was AD at RJ Reynolds, and he asked me what I was doing. And I told him, I just want to get into coaching, and told him what I was doing and things of that nature. He told me to come over to Reynolds, just see how it works and all that good stuff. So I didn't know he was going to offer me a job at the time. So I go over there and look at it and everything. And it was actually for football. So I started coaching football at Reynolds. And, obviously, you still got that itch to coach basketball because that's what I was coaching at the time.
Yeah.
And Howard, I went to talk to Howard. He didn't have a spot available. But Spivey told me actually what I, help with the girls' side of it. Him and the girls' coach at the time. So I told him, yeah, sure. So I went and volunteered to become the JV assistant coach. For the girls' team, they hadn't won a game in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And I had, just so happened I had Asia and her sister, which is Darrell Mitchell now. And coached them. And I had a girl named America Stollis and man, we took off from there. Like, was just pressing. They couldn't, everybody was trying to shoot jumpers. I was like, look, we're gonna learn how to hit layups.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just pressed. It just hit layups and layups and layups. And then finally, after my second year there as volunteering, the ninth grade position came open because we lost Coach Duncan. And
Mhm.
so I went over to the boys' side and started coaching the ninth grade team for 2 years. And then as well, I stayed in the varsity gym as well. I told Howard the
Yeah.
only way I would do is that I had to be a part of what the varsity team was doing as well.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'd be in my practice and then get out of my practice and go to varsity's practice and soak that up and then send film and all that. I was spending, after school 6 or 7 hours a day,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just learning my craft. So that's how I got into it. And I was a sponge, man. Every camp Howard went to, I went to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every camp that I went to, we went with notepads and then when I leave, I always ask, can I I want to meet the videographer, the person that cuts up the tape because I want the plays, I want the sets, I want to look at it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they would give me DVDs at the time. Y'all young generation don't know about DVDs no more. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything's on social media. But so we
Yeah.
just cut it up, man. And I just got into it that way, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, a lot of these kids don't really know the tradition and the history of Winston-Salem basketball. You coaching over there with Witt. I know that's a full circle moment to have coach, Witt and Trav and Mike and those guys. But you go on to help what's considered a dynasty at RJ Reynolds, and then in 2004, you get your shot. So you kind of built prep from the ground up. It was a new school. Nobody had ever heard of it. They started out with freshmen and sophomores. When you took the job, what was your vision for the program? And did you ever imagine what would come, from taking the job at a new school that was just built that didn't have a reputation?
Well, I mean, yeah, yes and no. You always got a vision because I just try to look at things as positive as I can. But I also knew it was going to be a tough job. Obviously because it's a brand new school, doesn't have a lot of history, or had no history. But the one thing that we had going for it at the time was that it was a grant that was given by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and then the kids that graduated was able to go to any college that they wanted to,
Mhm.
and I have a scholarship with the Thurgood Marshall Foundation. So I was able
Yeah.
to sell some kids on those things, and then I got lucky. I had Marcus Wright, whom I had
Yeah.
coached just a little bit. And I coached his brother, his mom, and them really trusted me. So I ended up getting him, and then the next year we got you know Big
Yeah.
Red. So I mean, you don't see it happening that way. But I tell people this all the time. When you're sincere about what you do, good things are gonna happen to you. And when
Mhm.
you're really about these kids, good things are gonna happen to you. Ain't gonna happen for you. So, we got a chance to build, and then once you build that reputation, after Marcus and them came through, like you said, you obviously them guys, man. You had
Yeah.
many battles with them, what I'm saying to you. And so
Yeah.
when you see that, then other kids want to come through.
Mhm.
And it's just like anything in sports. Everybody want to try to be part of the winners, but you just got to be very selective in who you bring into your program. But
Yeah.
did I see it that way? No, and yes. I saw us have an ability to go out and try to win a state title.
Mhm.
Um, but did I know we were going to win 6 of them? No. Nobody sees that. I don't care who you
Yeah.
are. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but it was great. It was a great time at Winston Prep for sure.
Yeah.
It was, coach. Your team that at Winston Prep, to me, there was discipline. They was tough as nails. How did you build that culture? And what was some non-negotiations on with your program?
Well, I mean, again, I mean that Richard, you're gonna know this name, okay?
Mhm.
This came from my football side first. It was named Coach Willie Ashford.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
coached the Tiny Vikings Volunteer. And again, I could tell y'all stories for days, but He was another one that found me in the same McDonald's. That's why I know this is all about God.
Yeah.
He found me in the
Yeah.
same McDonald's. I just flunked out of school, college,
Yeah.
because I was a social advocate before I
Mhm.
went back to school and got my degrees and all that. I went to school at Winston-Salem State, and your dad will tell you,
Yep.
it's too much to do on campus
Yeah.
other than go to
Yeah.
class. So I
Absolutely.
didn't do those things. But he
Yeah.
found me at a very low point and said, "Yo, what you doing?" I was like, "Man, chilling, man." I didn't want to tell him I just flunked out of college. And he read me. He's like, "Yo, why don't you come and hang out with me at the Tiny Bike?" I was like, "Nah, man, I ain't got time for all that." Because again, I was
Yeah.
trying to find my way. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing with him is that he made me promise and just come look at it and promise me to come look at it. If I give you my word, I'm gonna do it. So I
Yeah.
told him, yeah, because I respected Mr. Ashford that much, because he was one of my
Yeah.
mentors when I was young. So I went out there and got the itch. But the
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah.
got me was, and this is about the details and all of those things, gave me a playbook in Little League football
Yeah.
for special things. I was like, huh? So he was the one that was just taught me about details and paying attention to everything and studying
Mhm.
playbooks and studying films and things of that nature in Little League. And then I was blessed enough to go to Reynolds High School. I had Alec Mevin. Like, he would count the belt buckles and you know, number
Yeah.
the knee pads, and then you go to Howard, and Howard was so meticulous and so detailed oriented.
Yeah.
You got what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you? Then my AD at the time, Jim Spivey, you couldn't catch a piece of paper on his desk. He was so detailed, and you know what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
so they all taught me. Like, Alex taught me, you know, about uniformity, and then when I coached with the Carolina Hornets, Walter Fay, he was
Mhm.
so detail oriented. Like, and man, you want to talk about a genius of a coach?
Yeah.
Golly, like, I've just been blessed to be around a lot of people
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
taught me those fortitude, that taught me those
Yeah.
things. Then I had John Allen, which is my pops, that's my
Yeah.
godfather.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at Winston Lake, what I'm saying to you, and then, broke off the Kappa Magic and things of that nature. And, I got books and poems and scriptures and everything, from him
Yeah.
to this day. I ride
Yeah.
around with it. You got what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you? So, you know, when you're building those programs, you got to have those foundations.
Yeah.
You got to have them,
Yeah.
because if you don't, I mean, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
And then,
Absolutely.
the thing that I've always tried to make sure that everybody understood, it's never about me. As much as,
Mhm.
the accolades and, like, Rich, that I'm not, you don't see me walk around as successful as I am. I'm almost embarrassed to even talk about myself when it comes to, these championships and things of that nature, because I know we did it with the
Yeah.
players. We built the culture, built the
Yeah.
non-negotiables. You're going to be tough.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. You're going to be disciplined, and we all going to look alike.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, and then in the league, you coach with against these coaches. It ain't just about being athletic. You better be the coach.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you now, because they'll take away the athleticism real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. You
So you better
I mean
understand your craft.
you definitely dropped some names for coaching wise, player wise, man, we can name a lot of guys from, Kappa Magic, Carolina Hornets, Reynolds Prep, even down to this newer generation with, QEA and Forsyth Country Day. But you've coached, hundreds of players over the years. What are the qualities that separated the players who had the talent from the ones who actually, maximize the potential? And I'll use, obviously Chris is a name that everybody uses. Like, what separated those elite players from guys that just wanted to play or had the talent but didn't take it as far as they could have?
Easy. Off the court.
Mhm.
Off the court discipline.
Yeah.
The ones that succeeded had off the court discipline. They wasn't in everybody's face. They wasn't at every party. They wasn't all over everybody, just all out in, always at the hot spots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just thought about basketball, school basketball. That's what they were about.
Yeah.
And you had, I've had some very talented players that, they just always wanted to be in the know. They
Yeah.
always wanted to be in the
Yeah.
mix of some of the wrong
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And that's listen, for lack of better terms, the streets are undefeated.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
I remember, I don't know if you listened to or heard, the John Thompson story. When he had the one player that just won the national championship,
Yep.
and kept running back into the drug lord's house, and John
Yeah.
Thompson went to him, say, "Hey man, what's going on?" Called him over and said, "Look, man, John, this way he want to be." So much as I
Yeah.
tell him to stay away, he keeps coming to him. And that's what
Yeah.
John Thompson told him. Like, "Yeah, okay, I get it. Like, I can't help everybody,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's where it's separated. Because I've had some talented players that should
Mhm.
be and could have been,
Yeah.
but just the off court antics sometimes they don't want to let it
Getting
go.
away.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every coach has a defining moment. Was there a game or a season or experience that changed the way you coach forever?
I mean, I don't think it's been one moment. I think it's been a multitude of moments.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're always growing as a coach and you're always learning. Um, Early, I was a hothead. Because I was just tough, man. I was just,
Yeah.
Reggie them tell you that now. Like Reggie Marcus, all the early guys, Chris, all of them tell you. Like, bro, like I was just tough,
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing, one of the things that turned me around was listening to Hubie Brown when he said that, every player can't adjust to you. You have to adjust to your players,
Mhm.
and everybody can't be coached to Sonny. It's like
Yeah.
in my household. You know what I'm saying to you? Got three different boys with
Yeah.
three different personalities.
Yeah.
We got basic rules. You got what I'm saying to you? You always have those,
Yeah.
but you know, that's probably one of my defining moments. And then, you know, as far as with the referees and things, you know, I think the biggest moment for me as a coach and that will help calm me down was I
Mhm.
think I said something really disrespectful to a referee,
Yeah.
and it really
Yeah.
bothered me because that I said something about like I don't know how your wife can deal with you,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
referee walked up to me calmly. He said, "Listen, only cause you don't know me, I'm gonna let you get away with that." And then
Yeah.
after the game, somebody had told me that his wife passed away 2 years ago,
Mm,
Yeah.
and it just
Yeah.
taught me then, like, yo, why are you flying off the end about something that you can't control?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was saying to you, like,
Yeah.
stay in the fight with your team
Yeah.
and stop being personable.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that was one of the defining moments because it taught me discipline as well. And I was very embarrassed by it. It still hurts me to this day to even talk about that.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
lot of times when people, like when y'all saw me in the second part of my prep career, and even now, you kind of see me. I just try to stay calm, level-headed. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because practice is for practice. You want to cut up and be a dog, be that in practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
you out front and your team, you're in a battle with your team. You watch all these war movies. Can't panic.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
your team's gonna play like you coach it. So if you fussing at the
Agreed.
referees the whole time,
They gonna
or
finish.
you doing this the whole time, you're gonna be off. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be on your game.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, you spoke a little bit on family. Obviously we all coach, man. Coaching takes away so much from personal time and it can be demanding. How do you balance the responsibilities of building a championship program with life away from basketball, especially in your early days of, having those good teams where you have, a Marcus Wright, who's a Division I player, obviously Big Ridge, one of the best players to ever come through Winston. It's a lot more demanding because you got to kind of be more than just the coach. You got to be a dad to them as well. How were you able to balance your home life and your life at the gym?
It's tough. You just not getting started with this piece.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and tell you now,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough because you know your kid gonna have a lot of big brothers,
Mhm.
and it needs to be that way.
Yeah.
But they also need to understand that you're here for them as well. You
Mhm.
got me, and they got to share you. So my family accepted that piece of it because when I met my wife, she met me coaching. It ain't always been easy. You got what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes they do get shorted out. You know, like you're gonna miss some ball games because you're playing at night. You know, you're gonna
Yeah.
miss some first moments. But when you have the time, you have to make sure you make that time for them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the balance that you have to use. But I tell you what, it ain't easy. It ain't easy,
Yeah.
bro. It
Yeah.
ain't easy. You know, because I look back sometimes myself and say, dang, how did I miss that? Or why did I miss that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the sacrifice that you make. Unfortunately, when you're trying to achieve greatness, and anybody that's been great is you're gonna sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah. Sacrifice
Some
some. Yep.
things,
Yep. Agreed.
but it's not easy at all.
Because we all had to look up to somebody who kind of influenced us to start coaching, or one of us wanted us to coach. And I'll be honest, I'm Rich probably feel the same way, but I just remember coming back home from college and seeing those prep days when you was at prep and just sitting in the crowd watching it. I'm an East guy. I went to East. And I remember you guys played against East and they had like Randy Morrison. I think you guys had Greg and J5. And I remember just sitting in the crowd and I'm just watching how hard you guys played and how you really just beat the crap out of East at East. And for me, I was like, yo, I want to run a program like that. Like I wanna be a head coach. And I know it's gonna take some time. I know you gotta grind. But I just watching you coach and what you did at prep, I knew that I wanted to be like a coach one day and have my own program. Who influenced you, coach, to start coaching?
Again, like I told you, the Willie Ashfords, the John Allens, the Walter Fays. Um, you know, Richard, this might be a throwback name for you. When I was in high school, Gene Malloy.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I'm saying to you? God
Hmm.
rest his soul. He gave me opportunity as a student manager and then turned me into a student coach.
Yeah.
And again, which is crazy because I know him. I went to, Coach Shula asked, could I be his manager? He told me no. So I heard a lot of no's at Forsyth.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard more no's than yes. But again, those are the people that influence me when it comes down to coaching. And again, like I said, I'd be remiss not to tell you about John Allen and those names, Howard West, all those guys. Those guys gave me opportunity. You know what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you? And then obviously, playing against Ricky Holt when we became the AD at Winston-Salem Prep. Shoot, he saw something that I didn't even see at the time. And
Hmm.
he whispered in my ear, and I was like, shoot, why not? I coached ninth grade before and tried to build it
Yeah.
up from ninth grade to 10th grade to 11th grade to 12th grade. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
saw opportunity. I took it because again, and I keep mentioning Rich name, and you knocking on them doors, man. Them people just like
Yeah.
no, constantly like,
Yeah.
yo, what? I know I'm good enough,
Yeah.
but you just have to go out
Yeah.
and prove yourself, So I was given the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, me and Rod, we both kind of shared the same thing because we kind of went through the same thing at the same time. Rod was at Walkertown prior to me getting the job, and obviously I got the job, and me and him had conversations, leading up to whoever they hired, and so I always told him like I went through the same thing as far as hearing. No, I applied for a few schools. I didn't get an interview, and they gave them to some people that ended up not staying, but I was like, it all worked out for me because Walkertown was a perfect situation at the time. Same thing with, him at NCLA. But Gould, I just remember I called you during COVID and I was like, I might have came to the gym at QEA and I was just like, man, I'm just looking for something different. You know what I'm saying? And you was like, well, I got a spot for you over here, but the only thing is all these coaches do something different, but it's one voice. You know what I'm saying? And that stuck with me from the time you said it to now. I always think about all those coaches you had and like, man, Google got, 7 coaches, but they all do something different and they all there for a reason. But when, it's time for you to be the head coach, like you already got that undivided attention and that respect. And so I always try to model that, with the program now. And, I always tell guys like, I played against some of the best players and I coached, I played against some of the best coaches. And so I definitely try to model what you did with prep and building from the ground up and, whatever. I'll tell anybody to this day, like, that's probably some of the best memories of my high school career is Carver and prep. You'll never see battles like that, that intense with that type of talent in public school nowadays. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe in the playoffs and stuff, but it's rare that you see that in Forsyth County now. And so, I always gotta highlight you for those type of things.
Well, again, that was something that I learned. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, you just one as a head coach, it's got to be one voice.
Mhm.
You got me? Like, that's what again. I told you it could be chaotic in that gym,
Yeah.
but on game day, it's one person in charge
Yeah.
and one
Yeah.
person only. Like
Yeah.
when it's in gym time, it's chaotic, and if it gets too chaotic, I'll tell everybody here, all right, shut up. It's enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? Because it can get chaotic, it can get crazy in that gym. You know how it go. You
Yeah.
got me. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that we don't value what you got to say, all that other good stuff, but on game days, it's gonna be one voice and one voice only.
Yeah.
Got me? Then I'll look back, or you can tap me on my shoulder and say, what you're thinking, or whatever the case may be. I'm
Yeah.
like that now. I'm in the second chair now. You got what I'm saying to
Yeah.
you? And I've been successful. And guess what?
Yeah.
I tell Doug right now for Forsyth Country Day, it's got to be one voice. We just had this conversation the other day, me, him, and Whit, and Joe, like, everybody got one voice. Our
Yeah.
sideline can
Yeah.
never look chaotic.
Yeah.
You got me? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you? Like, and you know, we've helped Doug with that. Doug has helped us because again, he's a great mind. But
Mhm.
it's just what it is. One of the problems that I do have is that I don't think enough of us want to compete. You talk about the
Mm.
battles.
Mhm.
You got teams with great teams that don't want to compete. What they think
Yeah.
team is. That's the thing that I admire about you. That's the thing I admire about Russell right now is that y'all are young bulls. Like I call Russell Moses.
Yeah.
Y'all are the club that I could tell y'all came up under us.
Yeah.
Got me? And
Yeah.
we're trying to make way for y'all now because y'all don't mind playing whomever, whatever, whenever.
Yeah.
Those are the things that y'all took a lot of our lessons, our things that we try to teach you guys, whether directly or indirectly, and y'all are implementing that.
Mhm.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense? So
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
things that we took from, me and your dad took from other coaches like Coach Poe and them. Like, bro,
Yeah.
it's not enough. This city, for some reason, will not give our forerunners enough credit.
Yeah.
Get what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you? I love Andy
Yeah.
Muse.
Yeah.
I do. But before there was any of the Andy Muse, it was his dad. It was
Yeah.
Cloud. It was Poe.
Yeah.
You got what I'm
Mhm.
saying to you? It was Piggott. Piggott, people don't
Yep.
realize Coach Piggott used to coach. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, bro,
Yeah.
even when Marty was in middle school, Marty Stanley was in middle school, like, but bro, we had him,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
all relied on them. Like when we were coaching, we all went back to those tables. We wasn't scared to go sit down at those tables to learn. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm learning now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not scared to call up Coach Piggott or Coach Allen or on whomever I need to call up. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying to you? To
Yeah.
ask for their
Yeah.
advice or I'm in a tough spot. Like, yo, what are you thinking? You got what I'm saying to you? Like
Yeah.
we went through our Forsyth Country Day playoff run last year, and you know who I had breaking down film with me? Yo,
What
send
was
this over.
that?
Send me the notes. I called Coach Allen.
Yeah.
Send him the tape. Like, yo, here's
Yeah.
the link. Tell me what you're saying because I'm not scared of that.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
me? Again, like I told you before, you want to be successful. It can't be about you.
Mhm.
The one thing I'm gonna tell you, and I'm always say this: arrogance will get you beat.
Agreed.
Arrogance
Yeah.
will get you beat, and I'm gonna always gravitate to somebody who has done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've done it, I want to be. I'm gonna gravitate to you.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying to
Yeah.
you? I'm not gonna gravitate to
Yeah.
somebody who had never done it. I'm gonna gravitate to somebody who's done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I'm gonna skip the next question because I kind of want to stay on this. What do you think is like, what do you think the reason is that they don't give the credit? Like me and Rod talk about this, and I talk about this with other coaches. We don't, us as a city, we don't tend to try to build it up like the best teams and the best players should compete against each other because it makes coaches wanna come and watch more games, or it makes them wanna come back and recruit, players. But because we don't, and it just seems like there's a lack of, unity in Winston. I mean, obviously the mentality, we always talk about the crabs in the barrel mentality, but, like, why do you think that is in the coaching game as well?
Egos.
Yeah.
Egos. People want to pad their stat.
Yeah.
It's just egos.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. It's just egos. You got what I'm saying to you? Like, again, and I mean, when I took the mentality where I came from. When I
Mhm.
went to prep, they asked us to compete in the Frank Spencer, who was ninth graders. I was like, sure,
Yeah.
let's do it. They were like, you crazy. I was like, I'll do it. You got me?
Yeah.
And I did it. I mean, I don't,
Yeah.
again, like, you just, iron sharpens iron. You're not going to get better if you don't play the best of the best.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember the year before when I was at Reynolds and I was coaching the girls' side, I watched Jason Parker beat Reynolds
Mhm. West
over in
Charlotte.
Lenore
Yeah.
Ryan.
Mhm.
You got what I'm saying? The next year I joined the boys staff, and I knew in March I was going to be coaching. Or in April I was going to be coaching. And the
Yeah.
first thing I told Howard, I said, we got to get West Charlotte on the schedule. He's like, huh? I said, we got to get West Charlotte on the schedule.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
left it up to me to get West Charlotte on the schedule. I said, we are not going to not play those teams.
Yeah.
Because we're never going to know how to face them if we don't play them day in and day out.
Yeah.
You got what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I mean, I just think the biggest thing is, to go back to that question is that, egos, man.
Yeah.
Like, Rich, me and you today, man, we played spades. I'm not going to like you. But the
Yeah.
minute that game over with, I'm going to love you. I'm just a
Yeah.
competitor.
Yeah.
And I think that we got to learn how to separate the two. Yeah, we're competing.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna try to drop you off. You got me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you another great funny story real quick. I played Parkland one year, right? And they had came
Yeah.
in and said we had Davey and them and Travis and all of them. Not, them my little brothers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we beat them. And Snacks, they were woofing before the game and all that. Then after the game, they said something. I'm back in the back of the back. I'm woofing. I'm like, the reporter asked me, said, what do you think? I said, go talk to them first. Talk to the losers. I'm just because everybody was whooping back.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
understand it's competition. Go talk to them
Yeah.
first,
Yeah.
right? They the
Yeah.
losers. Go talk to them first. Then they can't talk to me, and I made a comment in the paper, and I said, slow death, fast death. At the end of the day, it's still a death,
Yeah.
right? And Travis Carpenter said, boy, you killed me with that line. But the next year we played them, right? They set my tail down on the stool.
Yeah.
When I tell you they handed it to me,
Yeah.
got me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Snatch came by and shook my hand and shook me and Coach Hobbs' hand. He was like, yeah, hey, man, great practice. Good practice. Now, that line killed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Coach Hobbs was like, he was ready to fight. And I told him, I said,
Yeah.
yeah, bro, all's fair in love and war. We
Yeah.
gave it to them
Yeah.
last year. They gave it back to us
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
still, to this day, I love all of them. I've coached
Yeah.
team, helped them run team Winston the whole nine.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to play your friends. Can't have an ego where you want to be the top dog and you don't want to play nobody. Because everybody's trying to learn and get better if
Yeah.
you're in this business. You got what I'm saying to you?
Mhm. Yeah.
That was one of the things I admired about Andy Muse with our rivalry, that we always played each other. We tried to always play each other.
Yeah.
Carl, we tried to play each other. It was a good rivalry for the city. You
Yeah.
got, the gym, the gym sell out, the floor sweaty,
Yeah.
bleachers shaking. It's just some games that are meant to be played.
Yeah. Agreed.
You got what I'm saying to you? It
Yeah.
doesn't, like, I'm not worried about a kid leaving or coming. If he want to be here,
Yeah.
he's going to be here. If he want to leave, he's going to leave.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the business now.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Like, people worried about that stuff. Like, bro, let it go. Coach who you got.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because everybody has benefited from kids moving around, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, we just want to compete. You
Yeah.
know, and if you want to get coaches in your gym, you better start having good games.
Mm-hmm.
You got me? I'm telling you, if you want to compete and you want to get kids recruited, you're gonna have to play good teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%.
What, coach? What piece of advice would you give a young coach, or you? What would you tell a young coach that's just getting into the game?
Stay consistent. Whatever your foundation is, stay consistent and stay true to it. You know what I'm saying to you? Like you know, my term is he who works the hardest reaps the greatest rewards.
Yeah.
Well, that statement comes with a lot of responsibility. He who
Yeah.
works the hardest reaps the greatest rewards. You know, tough
Yeah.
players win, effort, toughness, and commitment. Those are some of the mantras that I have, sayings that I have that I put in. I put it on our bags. I put it on. I remind our kids constantly. You know, but the biggest thing is he who works the hardest gets the greatest rewards. That's just not in basketball. It's in the classroom. That's in life. That's at home. That's if you're mowing the yard. That's if you're picking up trash. That's if you a computer tech. That's if you're a doctor. Whatever you decide to do, if you want to be the best at it, you're gonna have to work the hardest at it. Ain't nothing
Yeah.
given me.
Facts. Yeah.
Nothing given.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you? If you want to give it, you're not gonna be successful. You gotta earn it.
Yeah.
You know, so that would be, you know, whatever your foundation is, whatever your motto going to be, stay true. Let that motto have meaning, and then stay true to it.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next
Yeah.
thing is that understand that you're not for everybody, and everybody's not going to be for you. You got what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Mm.
telling you, man, because you got some parents that want to coddle their kids. Some parents think that, you know, like they're going to look through it through a selfish lens. You
Yeah.
got me? You know, and I'll give you another story, especially with this one right here with that walker tie I had on. I called him last year and said, "Yo, man, what are you doing?" He's like, "What?" I said, "Bro, I went through what you're going through. That's why I tell you, Rich is like he's my mini me right now."
Yeah.
He was like, He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Yo, man, why are you not playing Rico
Yeah.
as much as you
Yeah.
should?" He was like, "Man, I know, bro. You don't have to. He's ready.
Yeah.
Like I love him. He's ready. But I know what you're doing. You're trying not to show favoritism or think people what you worry about. But at the end of the day, none of us are going to coach to lose. And if
Yeah.
he's the best, he's the
Facts.
best.
That's facts.
Now, is it going to upset some of the apple cart? Yes, because everybody's going to always run back to that excuse. But
Yeah.
no coach is coaching to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
You got me? So
Yeah.
as long as you're fair, you hard, but you fair, you know, then everything else is going to fall into place.
Yeah. Yeah, he did, right. He did call me and tell me that. That's been the toughest thing for me. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I mean, not this year because it's he stepped into that role, but that first year of him playing varsity, I had him coming off the bench, and it was just like, man, he got to earn it. I don't want nobody to ever say like I'm giving him nothing, you know. So I was trying to teach a lesson within a lesson, and he called me and was just like, man, play your brother. I mean, it
Right.
was like 3 or 4 different coaches, but Gould definitely called me just on a random, like, "Hey, man, I don't know what you trying to prove, but you know what I'm saying? You gotta play your brother. Like
Right.
he ready.
Now, I mean,
He's
because when I
showing you."
saw him on the floor, the whole setup changed.
Yeah,
Like you could just
Mhm.
yeah,
tell, like, oh, he got it, or what's going on?
yeah,
And you
yeah,
notice when he's not on the floor, like you know what I'm saying to you. Like I
yeah,
just know it. I mean, I've been around it long enough now. You can just see it. So you know, I just
yeah,
nah. I said, you know, Richard might not like me calling him on this one, but I'm gonna call him anyway.
yeah. But you know what? I ain't above criticism. That's one thing I love. Like you said, just with the people have done it before. If I know it's somebody that has been in a position I've never been in or has done something that I haven't done and I'm trying to get there, I gotta listen to what they're saying because, like
Right.
you said, your arrogance will cause you to lose. And you know, we don't get to the state championship without, like you said, Gould calling, you know, Coach Clyde Reynolds calling. I talked to Coach Muse, you know. I even talked to Howard West before. Like, you know, I ran into Howard West and he, you know, gave me some advice. So I try to always use those things in like my coaching philosophy. So, you know, that's why I say is, you know, I'm not above the, you know, the criticism or the information that y'all are giving because y'all know what it takes. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I respect, those guys that have done it before us. So that's definitely something that I always appreciate that.
Boy, you threw out his name
Because,
too, boy. Clyde Reynolds, boy. Shoot.
yeah, yeah,
He'll call me
yeah,
today, kick my butt, boy.
yeah, yeah. Coach Reynolds. I mean, he coached Rod.
Yeah.
And he coached me on the back end at Carver, before he went to Reynolds, him and Coach Poe. So, like, I was fortunate enough to have, and I didn't realize it at the time, but at Carver, Danny had Coach Reynolds, Coach Cloud, and Coach Poe all on the bench at the same time. And
Now think about that. Now think about what you had on your bench.
yep,
You got
yep,
Cloud, you got Reynolds, and
and
Pickett.
Poe,
I
and
mean,
Coach
Poe
Poe. Yep,
and Poe. Like,
yep,
do you understand? Like, again, Clyde Reynolds. People don't understand. Is probably one of the best teams to not win a state title. We had
hmm
We had 5 Division I players on that roster. We were
yeah,
Reynolds before Reynolds was Reynolds at the time, the early
yeah,
2000s.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying to you? Like Clyde had Jeff Denny, Carolina, David Carlisle, at Wake Forest,
yeah,
Brian Howard that went to NC State.
yeah,
We had Scotty Johnson that went to Alabama A&M. We had
dang,
Chris Collins that went to UNCG. We had
yeah,
Wag that went to I think it was ECU or somewhere like that.
yeah,
We had Chris Upson on that squad. He was a junior. Got me hit. I think he ended up playing at UNCG as well. We
yeah,
just had talent for days.
yeah,
Coach Gainey was on
yeah,
that squad.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying to you?
yeah,
Like Mike Bell that played at NC State.
yeah, yeah. That's a
You
that's
know,
a
like
mob right there.
what?
Yeah, that's a mob right there.
So
Yeah.
and then again, Poe and Clyde, they just legendary. Clyde had Brian Fagans, all them,
Mhm. Mhm.
Kevin Thompson, Coach Monfort, he just like, bro,
Yeah.
them
Yeah,
guys are
he
legendary. Like that's why I keep telling folks, like, but those are all the guys, even like football side, Keith Wilkes. Bro, I stayed at Carver all the time.
yeah.
Y'all be like, what
Yeah.
nigga, what is you over here? Oh, excuse my language. Y'all be like, what
No,
are you
you
over
good.
here for, man? I'm going to see Keith, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I be sitting at
Yeah.
Keith over, just be sitting in there, just listening to him, Greg Scales, just listening, like I'm
Yeah.
always just soaking it up. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
I used to watch the players come in constantly. They just being there, just, either handing out something or talking, and just I'm like, yo, that's what I want my program to look like.
Yeah.
I want my program to
Yeah.
look like I got 150 sons, and that they can
Mm.
just at any time, like some of the things I usually hear the players come in and talk to them about. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Like guys, those guys are real dudes, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So Coach Gould, obviously, man, you've been doing this for a long time, but 20 years from now, the same way we having conversations about some of those guys that we consider legendary coaches, what do you hope your legacy would be? And not just as a coach, but as a mentor, as a leader in the community. What do you want people to say about you when it's all said and done?
Well, I mean, the songwriter said, "May the worst that I've done speak for me."
Yeah.
Um, I want everybody to always know that it never was about me; it's always about them.
Hmm.
Always. One that I cared about them. Whether you played for me or you didn't, if you came across me, that I care about you. You got me,
Yeah.
and that you know I've always wanted to see you to succeed.
Yeah.
You got me, and I always want the best for you. That I was honest, I was hard, I was fair, but I was always truthful to you,
Hmm.
even when it hurts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got me, and I've had some conversations that ain't been easy. I've told some players, you're not gonna play college basketball.
Yeah.
As much as you want to, you're not gonna play. It's not an easy task.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is that what you've learned now, you know,
Hmm.
it's gonna help you in life.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying to you? So those are the things, um, that I want people to understand about me.
No.
And that, you know, f- and I get it a lot now, like, yo, man, my greatest accomplishment is always when players tell me, I see what you was trying to teach me. Or they
Hmm.
use some of the things that I taught them now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying to you? And then they shouted out like, "Hey, coach," like I think KP one time mentioned, he was doing a warrior drill, and he added
Yep.
me, and I said,
Yep.
"Yeah." You know what I'm saying to you? Like the thing that they dreaded the most, they
Yeah.
love the most now. You know what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you?
And them kids hate the warrior drill too.
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. And I got that from Boo Williams.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he called them monkeys.
Yeah.
The monkey
Yeah.
drill. I said, boy, I can't tell them they monkeys. So I called it warriors. I just changed the name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying to you? So again, I've been around a bunch of great people, but that's the biggest thing for me, man, is that I was kind, I was loving. I've always loved my players, love people I've been around, and I try to do anybody. I make sure I try to do no harm to anybody. I think
Yeah.
that's gonna be the biggest things, and that I was genuinely for the players.
Yeah. Just kind of wrapping up. I got one question that's off the paper. Six state championships, right? So obviously, in a 16-year span to win 6 state championships, that's legendary.
Yeah.
What was the most special championship out of the 6?
Ooh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta put you on the spot now. You got a lot of players that come
on
through
the hot
and
seat. On the hot seat.
they always talking about which team is the best prep team.
Yeah, you got a lot of them.
I think we can cut this out.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, go. All right, so we got the 2018. Obviously, Marcus and Reggie, Corey Gant. I mean, that team is special.
Cool.
Corey is a name that we don't really use a lot, but Corey probably one of the best pure shooters that I ever played against.
Listen to
definitely
me,
one
man.
of the best.
Listen to me. It's a debate with me.
Yeah.
Between 2 players.
Him and who?
That Corey Gant and my other little fellow. That was part of that three people my point.
Lay.
I mean, listen to me, bro.
Yeah.
Them dudes can reel on 5 straight. Well, it's 3 really now. And Chaz Gwynn.
Yep.
Them 3 can shoot from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like anywhere.
Yeah.
So Jesus. But Corey Gant was the originator for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah,
and
man.
his brother Calvin was my ultimate glue guy. He started all of that. J-Man.
Man, I ran into J-Man. I used to think J-Man was probably like 6'4", the way he played. But you see J-Man now, man, he might be 5'11", 6 feet.
You look at him, but he was so long and wiry.
Man, Rod, he used to look like he was 6'4" at the top of that 1-3-1.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, Gould, man, we, obviously, man, this is, been super informational. And the reason why we do this is to, give coaches their flowers. Like, I know going into next season, we're going to try to wrap up with like doing more players. But as far as the coaching style, getting the coaches on here that means something to us, that we felt like, don't get enough just due. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely wanted to highlight you, make sure that, we got you on here and just so we can, you know what I'm saying, let everybody know like how much we appreciate the influence.
For sure, man. For sure. And again, man, I appreciate this. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys thinking enough of me to ask me to do your podcast for sure. So again, love it. Love what you guys are doing. Super proud of you guys. One day I'm gonna be stepping aside and this city of basketball is in great hands with you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? You got my other little young puppy, he just getting into it last year. He going through his growing pains, but he's gonna be another good coach too. A big fella.
Great coach.
Yeah.
I coached against him. Great coach so far.
Yeah. Listen to me, man. Listen to me. he's another one that maximizes what he has right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Reggie Johnson, I got a great basketball mind. And then, he's like y'all, man. He's just a workhorse, man. He just don't stop.
Yeah.
If it's one,
Yeah.
if it's 10, he gonna show up at the gym. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Like, he wears me out. I'm like, Reggie,
Yeah.
just leave me alone today. But he's
Yeah.
always trying to, he's always asking. He always wants to be in somebody's gym. He wants to be at some coach's practice. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you? Like,
Yeah.
we start early. He might spend 3 or 4 days at our practice before you guys get started up
Yeah.
because we started before y'all in the private school. Like, he just,
Yeah.
we need to go to such practice. We need to go down to NC State. We need to go here. We need to go to Wake. We need to go. Like, he's me. He's y'all. He's always in somebody's gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
biggest thing about it is, and I'll tell you guys this, don't go spend time in these practices and don't walk away with something that you can't implement in your program. You know what I'm saying? I think too many coaches are going in practices with notepads and then they just leave those notepads. If you're going to
Yeah.
somebody's practice, go in with a purpose and
Yeah.
make sure you come out with something that you can implement in your practice. Like, always know that, guys. We don't have time to waste. If you're not
Yeah.
going to get better,
Yeah.
then it's like we tell the players, if you come to work out and you don't feel like you gotten better, or you're not gonna get better, or you're not gonna use this, then don't come
Yeah.
work with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the thing with coaches. We study our crafts. If you walk in somebody's gym, make sure you believe with something that you can use.
Yeah. Rod, take us out with a piece of advice that we want to leave the people for this episode.
So some advice, just be yourself. I try to tell all coaches, young coaches, just be yourself, coach the way you want to coach. I'm a player's coach. I feel like all my players love playing for me because I'm a player coach. So just be yourself. Continue to know it's not about you. Like Coach said, it's about the kid. Because we all had our time to play. We all had our time to do things in the gym, but now it's the kids' time.
Yeah. Again, man, this is episode 13 with R&R podcast. This episode will be, posted here in the next hour.